Welcome back to the series of 1 tip in 1 minute to get you one step closer to becoming an ultra lightweight, ultra cool backpacker. This one is on first aid. I will tell you right now, if you can sense some kind of emotion in my face, this has got to be like the 22nd time I have recorded this video. If you've watched any of the other videos in this series, they were all recorded 2 to 3 weeks ago. That's when I recorded the original one on the first aid, what I carry in my first aid kit. And I knew as soon as I stopped the camera that I was going to get ripped apart in the comments for what I bring. So I've decided to try to re-record that video 12 hours before it's supposed to be posted and give you a little context about why I bring what I bring. I think it's still going to have me ripped apart in the comments, but I don't know, somehow maybe it'll make me feel better. So this has got to be the last time I record it. Whatever happens on this video happens, I'm done. I will tell you that I first got the inspiration for coming out of the closet and telling you what I bring in my first aid kit after watching someone else a couple of months ago on YouTube do the same thing. And that person got ripped apart in the comments. And after getting ripped apart in the comments, he kind of wrote a really lengthy comment with why he, putting his life in perspective and kind of giving viewers some context. So I think it's really important if you're taking advice from someone on the internet or you're watching someone give advice, and if it alters your decisions, you should kind of know a little bit about that person. And so just to put my channel in context for you, I am an overnight backpacker. That is primarily what I do. In the last 2 months, I've gone out, I think 4 or 5 times, and every single one of those has only been an overnight trip. If I get a long weekend or if I get a vacation, yes, I might get out for 3 days. Maybe this summer I'll get out for 4 days. But at this point in my life, with my responsibilities, that's what I do. So anything that I'm talking about on here is always aimed at that sort of backpacker. If you are someone who does all sorts of crazy wilderness stuff, you know immediately when you're watching my channel that this is not aimed at you. And I have done that stuff. I had a whole section of my life where I have been weeks into the wilderness above tree line, where I was walking and I could swear I was the only person in the world to have ever put my foot in that spot. So I've done that sort of thing. This channel is not aimed at that. This advice is not given to people going into those sorts of situations. So here we go. First aid kits. That was a 2.5 minute introduction. Sorry about that. All right. This is the first aid kit that I carried for decades. Some of you old timers might recognize this because this was a really popular brand. You kind of bought it, it came fully stocked, and then over time you replace things as they go. And after years of bringing that first aid kit, I thought to myself, I was always buying things for trips to replace the old expired stuff, and as things got old, I thought to myself, I've never used anything in there except for a Band-Aid or two. That's it. So then I started carrying a smaller one. This is the one that we use in our car when we go car camping. And again, for years, I thought to myself, I never use anything that is in that first aid kit. And then I started really thinking about what are the things that are in that first aid kit that for what kind of trips that I do, if I didn't have it, could I hack it together from gear that I had? So I kind of had that floating around in my head. And so what I've done in the past few years is I've only brought 2 things in my first aid kit. And here I come out of the closet with this. If you've noticed, never before on this channel have I revealed what is in my first aid kit. The only 2 things I bring is this. I bring a tube of super glue and some Band-Aids. Depending on the length of the trip, depends on how many Band-Aids I bring. And so the Band-Aids, I don't even think of necessarily for cuts, because any cut that this Band-Aid would deal with, I probably wouldn't put it on anyway. I mean, this is where I live. This is not out in some trail. This is my house. I live on a little farm. There's a pasture out there behind the trees. I'm always getting cuts and all sorts of stuff, and I'm not throwing a Band-Aid on it. And so anything that would actually require a Band-Aid, I probably wouldn't end up using it anyway. So Band-Aids for blisters. Every once in a while, I get a little blister between my little toe and the toe next to it. The super glue would be my backup emergency. If I ever had a gash that just really wouldn't close on its own, you can throw some super glue up there. I could wrap it together with something. But the super glue has really been used for gear repair. I have used this when I've gotten holes in tents, and so it stops the ripping and it stops the bugs from coming in. I have used this on my shoes. I've gotten a stick that like went into my shoe and it ripped the fabric, so I've put it around the hole so the fabric would stop ripping. And so that's the only time I've really ever used the super glue. But these are the only two things that I'm carrying in my first aid kits. And now you can proceed to rip me apart in the comments, or feel free to come out of the closet and talk about how you only carry a minimalist first aid kit. All right, go for it.